G'day, my name's Cam Speedy. We're here on my property in Turangi today to have a look at a range of different traps and baits and lures. I've been teaching this stuff now for the last 3 or so years with Predator Free New Zealand Trust around the country, sharing knowledge and helping people get better outcomes from their trapping systems. My trapping systems have been refined over a long time. This particular line down this fence is got critters travelling from the swamp out the back to my garden and my orchard. So yeah, I've got motivation to be as good as I can at getting rid of them. I'll share that knowledge and we will help people get better at what they do. So this is a Doc 200 double set box. In my view, one of the best tools in the toolkit at the moment. It's 20 years old, but it's still a very good set. I've got it on this fence line here. I've mowed a strip between this thicket of broom to the north and my hay paddock to the south. And critters use this because it's an easy highway. Most critters are very efficient. They don't like getting wet, cats and possums in particular. They prefer to run where it's easy. So we tap into their efficiency, and this box is located on this fence line. Critical thing about the double sets is that we've got to bed it in properly. There's an issue called sympathetic firing where the energy and the vibration of one trap going off sets the other trap off. We don't want that because one trap catching a rat or a stoat makes the other trap incredibly attractive, and a double set, if you get rid of the sympathetic firing problem, is 6 times more efficient at catching stoats than a single set. So first thing we've got to do is prepare the ground. So all we want is a nice flat level platform that's solid, that absorbs the energy of one trap going off so that the other trap doesn't sympathetic fire. So it takes a little bit of work. It's easier in the forest than it is in the pasture. Nice and level. And you'll notice that these traps are set in the same orientation. Some of the SOPs that you'll read have them offset like that, but you can imagine trying to set that trap from through the other side of the fence becomes very difficult. This allows you operationally to do all your mahi on the trap from the nice open space behind the trap. Also, very important that the box opens this way and sits across level on the box. If you have it hanging the other way, you'll flog this out and your lid will start to buckle. So we've got a nice solid base. The traps are ready to set. What we can also do to help with the sympathetic firing is place a large rock or a heavy log on the top just to help absorb some of that energy. All right, now that we've set up our box, it's time to bait it up. There's a few things we want to do. Just putting a box here isn't enough. We've got to attract the animal and convince it to go in there. 80% of critter encounters with devices don't result in an interaction. So our job in baiting and luring is to ensure the maximum chance of an animal going in. First thing I'll do is I will put a big scuff at the entrance. This will be for a cat or a stoat. It'll be like a rabbit's been digging a warren here. So all this loose dirt will be incredibly exciting. Same deal both sides. So we've got fresh scuff at both entrances. Really important that you do this every time. Also, we'll use a bit of blaze, a bit of flour, not in the trap or on the trap, but beside the trap. This isn't to attract stoats or cats, it's to attract rodents. The more rodent smell coming here, the more interesting this will be to other predators. So we're setting up a bit of a epicenter of interest. If we just put a egg in this trap and leave it like that, it's sitting silently in the landscape, but we want to influence for a large area around it. This trap should shout in the landscape. I'm not a big fan of whole eggs, so when I'm doing my trapping, I'll break the egg at all times. I'll never use a whole egg. I'll get a wee stick and I'll turn it into an omelette. Make sure I break that yolk And I will leave most of the contents on the threshold and at the door. And I will put the egg sitting horizontal in the container, because that's how eggs appear in nature. Eggs never sit in nature like vertical. If you want a visual lure that's appropriate, you want to have your eggs horizontal. There's residual smell in there. There's a free omelette on the outside to encourage interaction, and then I'll put that in between. Also use a bit of a rabbit or mutton fat or something, rub it on the baffles so that there's the smell of rabbit, both baffles inside and out. Note the traps are not set at this stage for safety. Once I've got a little bit of rabbit, I'll put the remaining rabbit on in between the two traps. So in a very linear landscape like this, the critters are traveling along this fence feature, but what you can do is use whatever you can find, bits of moss, bits of log, here a bit of pine slash, just to create a little bit of guidance. Everything like this helps. Bit of a blaze here, or some other lure, rabbit lure or salmon lure out here, just to get the critter to be more interested in engaging with this device. Only then are we ready to set the traps. So we set the first trap, we pull it up, and then we push the arm against the sear, which holds the trap in place. Before we do anything else, critical that we use a safety clip. If we put it there, the risk of it falling off is too high, so the handle actually acts as a safety. So that can no longer slip either side, and that's safe. So I'm in a position to put my bait there, set the second one. Again, just put the arm against the sear. So once we're set up like this, the last thing we do is we take the safety catch off. Both traps are set. We close our box and we put a rock or a heavy log or something just to add to the extra weight to reduce the sympathetic firing, and job's done.